I'm putting this thing on top and I keep telling him to do something. He's not giving energy. He was talking just on the camera when it's time to do interview. Now it's time to pose. If you go to Instagram, he's doing posing, but he doesn't want to pose now. Like, what's that? Go.
And Madabuchi basically means man is not God, you know. So God is supreme and we humans aren't God. That name was given by my maternal grandmother. And my other name is Wabuwane, given by my father, meaning the child is like a brother to me. So yes, and the reason why he gave me that name because not only did he see me as his son, but he also saw me as his brother. I'm the founder of Migi Okafor Designs, which is a web design company that I've set up for myself. And I'm also the founder of Igbo Tongue, which is an Igbo learning platform on Instagram, where I basically take people on a journey. So as I get more fluent in Igbo, I'm actually allowing people to jump in with me and walk together.
Come go to Ife. Ifa Buchi.
Many of you have probably seen my platform, and yes, I teach people there, and I get good reviews. Got people from all over, you know, like white people, Igbo people, Yoruba people, you know, watching my content, and yes, get a lot of testimonials. So join me on Igbo Tongues, and I'm happy to meet you guys.
So, follow me.
So I am originally from Ogidi town in Idemili, you know, where the famous Chinua Achebe is from. And I'm also from my beloved Aba town in Njikoka, where the famous writer Chimamanda Adichie is from. And I grew up in Amsterdam, you know, where I stayed there till like 2008 before coming to the UK. Majority of the Nigerians in Amsterdam are all Igbos, you know, and yes, my family is well known amongst the Igbo community in Amsterdam. And there's a part of Amsterdam where the Igbos reside, and it's a place called Belma. Belma is another word for, well, Belma is based in southeastern Amsterdam, just as you have southeastern London. And yeah, that's where you find most of our Igbo uncles, like even is in Igbo Amsterdam. It's from Belma, so yes. And that's where I kind of learned about Igbo culture because we used to hold a lot of festivals in Amsterdam. I saw my first Mawu in Amsterdam, and yes, we have some proud Igbos back home in Amsterdam. So yes, what got me into teaching Igbo? I'll say what got me into Igbo culture in general had to do with the death of my grandmother, because prior to my grandmother dying, I wasn't really embedded into Igbo culture, and I wasn't really fluent in Igbo, you know, so I couldn't speak any Igbo language, so I couldn't even say any word. I didn't even know how to say, my name is this, my name is that, I'm from that in Igbo. Like, I couldn't even say nothing. And my grandmother, on the other hand, couldn't even speak a word of English. So, and she was the last grandparent that I had, and because I couldn't speak Igbo back then, which is the fault of my Dutch teacher. No, my sister's Dutch teacher, and she couldn't speak English. Like, it kind of robbed me of a relationship with my grandmother before she passed away. And also the reason why I and my sister weren't fluent in Igbo when we were kids was because growing up in Amsterdam, like Dutch was the standard language that everyone had to speak, and because my sister's primary school teacher was failing in Dutch, she just told my mother one day, saying that you have to stop speaking Igbo to your kids because your your daughter's doing bad in her education. The only language that your daughter has to speak is Dutch. And because of what that teacher said, my mother unfortunately stopped speaking Igbo to us. So that's why I wasn't able to speak Igbo. And which led me to not have a relationship with my grandmother, who was my only grandparent back there alive. And yes, so because of that, I now took it upon myself to get embedded into the culture and learn Igbo for myself, which I have been learning online. And also have a friend that I want to give a shout out to who lives in the States. His name is Jukes, because I started speaking Igbo with him, and then from there my passion for Igbo culture grew more and more and more and more and more. And prior to my nickname, Migi Okafor, being Migi Okafor, it used to just be Migi. But because I embraced my Igbo culture, I added Okafor to my nickname, Migi Okafor, which actually is my real Igbo surname. So, yes, so started speaking Igbo more and more and more and more, and people recognized me for that. And due to my love for Igbo culture, I had people coming to me saying that I inspired them to take their culture serious as well. Because if I'm going to be honest, prior to my grandmother's death and even living in Amsterdam, I was not proud of being Igbo at all. But it took my grandmother dying and for me to realize who I actually am. And yes, so this Igbo man that you see right now, I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for my grandmother, who's Teresa Akabok, from Abatown. So I'm actually doing this for her. And yes, I'm being the grandson that I should have been. What we can do as Igbo people, this is a message for both elders and the younger generation. It's just to embrace who you are, don't forget where you're coming from. Yes, we live in the diaspora, we live in Europe, but if we're gonna have to look at things technically, everyone else is embracing their culture, even the white people, the British people, the Dutch people, they are embracing their culture because this actually is their culture, and we have a culture of our own. And it's important for us to embrace our culture and pass it on to our future children and their children and their children. You know what I'm saying? Because I've read somewhere that Igbo language is one of the languages that is at the risk of facing extinction, and we shouldn't allow that to happen. So my advice to the younger generation is to get more involved with Igbo carnivals, Igbo functions, and even if your parents don't have time to teach you Igbo, just go on Igbo Tongue on Instagram, or you can even go on YouTube. You can go and learn Igbo. There are many resources available, where you can learn Igbo. And yes, get in tune with your culture. It's very important because at the end of the day, everyone who's not Igbo is getting in tune with their culture, They are speaking their language. If they embrace who they are, then you should embrace yourself as well, your own identity, because that's where your power lies in, And if I'm going to be honest, even when I speak about Igbo tongues, majority of my followers are from the States. They're from America. So not only is my platform impacting the people of UK, but also is also doing great things internationally. And I'm currently teaching a Russian lady one-on-one, and she lives all the way in China, and I'm teaching her Igbo soon. So people actually want to learn Igbo, but I feel like the problem that people usually face is that people aren't patient enough. And I understand that, learning a whole language takes time and dedication and etc. And I know that we want to be fluent immediately, but sometimes you just have to go through the process. And my apostle once used to say that you never stop being a student, and that's the thing with Igbos. But even the English that we're speaking, it's not that we know every single word of English. There's still a lot of English words that we don't know yet, and we're yet to discover those words. But as you keep on speaking, as you keep on learning Igbo language, you'll be more fluent, you'll be able to hold basic conversations, etc. So I encourage you. Even though we grew up abroad, in Europe, and find that it's important. I think it's important to be going to our town meetings, especially the young ones. The only way for you to be more connected, with your community is when you now start going to your town meetings, And yes, and that's why I also took it upon myself, for example, to be connected to more Igbos, because I need to build that strong Igbo community, both in Amsterdam, in UK, in America, in Nigeria, just the way our parents used to do it, And that's very important, because one day we ourselves are going to be parents. We're going to be the aunties and the uncles, one day. And all these events that we have been going to, all these festivals, etc. We're going to be the ones to set it up, And in order for us to have the same experience or even a better experience, we need to know our ish, our something. It's very important. And this is also a word to all our elders, all our umunnas and umunnes. I know it has been your desire for the younger generation to embrace their culture, but there are some few issues that I want to address here, especially with festivals. When you're doing your festival, you should include all age groups, What I find usually when I go to Igbo parties, Igbo festivals, is that it feels like it's only catered towards the older generation, and nothing is catered towards the younger generation. Even the youths of today, they don't even have a seat to sit on. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, we don't know what's going on. And also, when it comes to Igbo functions, if you know that majority of the younger generation aren't fluent in Igbo and you want us to embrace their culture, it would be better if you spoke in English so that everyone will know what's going on. Because the last time I went to an Igbo function with my partner, for example, she didn't know what was going on, and I had to explain to her what was happening. And there are a lot of young Igbo people who go to Igbo functions and they don't know what's going on, because most of your events are only catered to the older generation, your age group. And in order for us to build the bridge, we have to start including the younger generation. Make the younger generation feel like they matter as well. Make them feel valued, make them feel like, okay, this is also about them. Fair enough, like I greet all the Igwes, like I love you guys, but also if you want to pass down a culture to the younger generation, like make them feel like they have a sense of belonging, like, oh, this is my culture. Because what you usually get is just a young person coming there as a plus one. Because you make us young people feel like we are plus ones at an event like this, and what you get is a young person coming to an Igbo event, eating rice, listen to a bit of music, come back home, not knowing why this event was held, not knowing what was going on, etc. So we could improve in that area. For example, if I bring my brother, who's half German, half Igbo, if I bring my brother, who's an Igbo man, to this kind of events, and one, he doesn't understand what is being said, he doesn't understand this and that. Like, to him, it's as if he only went to a festival to go and eat rice and, drink a bit of beer and malt and, and come back home, and no impact. So I feel it's important to also cater your events to the younger generation, and word to the younger people, always embrace who you are. I know back in the days, we used to go to that African booty scratcher phase in life, and etc. And back in the days, like, I admit it as well, like, even for me, it wasn't cool to be Igbo, but at the end of the day, if other people are embracing who they are, you also have the right to embrace who you are. So I definitely encourage you to get involved. And, so just get involved. And never forget who you are. Your power is in knowing who you are. And yes, I love you guys. You can find me on Instagram, Migi Okafor, Migiokafor. You can also find me on Twitter. If you need a website done, you can find me on Migi Okafor Designs. And if you need to learn Igbo, you can find me on Igbo Tongue, which is on Instagram only. And yes, but my main platform is Migi Okafor on Instagram, so that's where you can find me.
So, follow me.
And don't forget to follow Ogendi. I like the work that she's putting.